StaySafe's goal was to implement a GPS interface with added safety features. We began by sketching out some ideas that we thought were important to include in our design and began building our paper prototypes. We started to do some heuristic evaluations and walkthroughs. As you can see on the screen, these are our low fidelity prototypes, and what we intended to do was walk through our design, accomplishing our tasks. The first task that we wanted to accomplish was turning the crime stats feature on. As you can see, the person types in the address, they have a map view. They now have to turn the crime stats feature on by clicking on the button at the bottom of the screen. The blobs that you can see on the screen are the actual instances of crime in that area. They can toggle from map view to street view. As you can see now, the dots mean the crime instances of that area. We now went on to do some user testing to try to accomplish the same task we just did, which was to turn the crime stats on. And they begin correctly by pressing the destination crime stats button. At first, on the set destination screen, they're a little bit confused, a bit overwhelmed with all the information that's provided. They finally realize the destination address is already typed in, so they turn the crime stats feature on and press OK, which leads them to this screen, the street view. They're a little bit confused about what the dots mean, and so they're still trying to turn the crime stats on. And what they end up doing is trying to turn on the crime stats feature once again by clicking on the bottom of the screen. After doing our initial user testing, we made some changes to our interface by adding color to the buttons to make it more readable. As you can see here, this makes it clearer for the user. We also made the change of what were initially drops to pin drops to make it more understandable for the user. We now did a walkthrough where our task was to set the voice code. As you can see here, this is the options and settings button. We press set voice code, and what we do is just start record, yell out a voice code, we stop recording. We can check whatever was recording, which plays back, and then finally press done. Our first user testing and setting the voice code went as follows. The person initially is a little bit confused and ends up pressing options and settings. They press set voice code. Initially, when they see the screen, they're a little bit confused. It's not sure of what's a button, what's a label. Ends up start to record, and still unsure of what to do, he presses done, and we give him an error screen because he hasn't finalized the recording. So he goes on to try it again. Start to record. He stops recording and he clicks start. Voice code set. Task finished. To avoid the confusion that some of our users had between what was a button, what was a label, what was what, we again color coded our design a little bit to make it more understandable. As you can see here, the buttons are clearly in the color of green. We also included the OK button once the voice code was set to make it more understandable for the user that the task was accomplished. We now want to go ahead and show our interactive prototype, the final product of our semester work. Here is the home page, what it looks like. The set destination page looks like this, and this is the calling 911 page. Some of the negative feedback that we received and the set voice code screen. The users weren't sure if they actually started recording once they pressed the start or stop record, or after they actually pressed the OK button and the screen above. Let's now summarize some of the things that we accomplished this semester in our project. We began our project by performing sketching to figure out some of the initial ideas that we wanted to implement. This was the lo-fi prototype that we built. Based on the user feedback that we got from user testing, we improved on those and made our mid-fidelity prototype, and finally our interactive prototype, which as you can see. Thank you, and we're Stay Safe.